Hi folks, Pete the Psychic Medium, and as per always, this is for spiritual development and for entertainment purposes only. It is Saturday the 9th of November, Aussie Australian time, and to say the world is in shock after the American presidential election is an understatement. I don't think I've been to any sites at all, particularly and especially psychic ones, that are saying, we told you this was going to happen. The way I did, but I'll talk about that in a moment. The majority was saying it was a landslide, and I also said it would be a landslide for Kamala and Tim. So what went so terribly wrong from the perspective of those predictions? Basically, the system. Do you remember my blogs? How many of you that regularly go to my blogs have seen that America Wake Up? And it was coming from 2001 after the 9/11, and I actually wrote a poem. If I can find it, I'll pull it out and put it into a blog. America, don't despair. There is good and evil everywhere. I can't even remember the rest of it. But it was just basically saying, hey, there's a fault. Your system is at fault. And it's coming to a point where it's going to be reviewed, whether you like it or not. And that can only happen if the country is put into turmoil. Okay, so now I'm jumping ahead a bit here in that I'm indicating that the election was basically a fraud for entertainment purposes only, and that there's so many questions. Where are half the votes gone? Was it 1 million something votes missing? There are also people making accusations that they voted here and they end up being listed as there. There's something very wrong. Now, do we go blaming the Republicans? Do we blame Trump? Or do we blame the American people for being so arrogant for so long as to allow this to happen? Now, I'm sorry, that's a terrible thing to be saying in view of the circumstances, but like the child had just ended up being severely burnt after the parents said over and over again, you don't play with fire. You've got to learn the lesson now where it hurts the most, and not just as a lesson, okay, move on. You've got to make changes, and it's got to come from grassroots. That is what my spirit friends have been saying for how long now? The implosion, remember the blogs about the implosion coming? You know, the volcano internal, it's going to be going inward. America, you're walking in it, you're sinking in it. Yeah, meaning that everything in America is coming to an end, and it needs changing. But how it changes depends on how you're reacting to what's currently happening and what happened before. All right, so now let's look at this from the perspective of a collective of people that are really caring and are concerned about the US. So to start with, don't accuse me of being an Australian and telling you what to do. I would give you the same right if we had a similar story here, and we probably will, because our Conservative government is just so much up the rear end of Trump's ideology. The ideology of the Conservatives throughout the world is one world government. And by telling the world that their opposite is looking for a one world government is how they get to where they are. It's not Democrats. It's not these Illuminatis or whatever on the left. It's been building in the right since the Second World War. They've learnt successfully that you don't worry about a particular time frame. It's not within the time of a particular president. No, you gradually build over and over to the point where down the track, as we are now, there is a new order in the making. Just think of that. Now, I don't want to make this too long, especially if I'm going the way I am. So I want to turn over to my friends in spirit just to see if they can give us something of a anything at all, any information at all. So I picked this weird shirt. Anyway, it looks all right. I'm here. It's a stinking hot day out there. There's a storm due, and hence why I'm racing to get this done, because it's about 9 o'clock, and I think the storm's due in about an hour or two. So they're saying. Doesn't look like it, but yeah. Okay, so to my wonderful friends in spirit, a gracious good morning to you all. Good morning, Pierre. Right, so what are your comments? What do you wish to say? And I really have got to pull me out as much as I can. My humanness is still there. It's human nature. But I want to hear what you have to say. A number of your blogs that we are the ones who wrote them, say it all. You know, the last few that we wrote with you indicating that something wasn't right. And it's not fish in Denmark. I never did understand that expression. No, neither did we. America has got to change, because America, by default, has become the world. You know, you're on as we've said before, you're on a process here, on a program that's run by American laws, where Australia and Britain and Europe had to rubber stamp an agreement because it's owned by America. Goods, services, all over the world are controlled by American interests. Remember the super corporations. The government of America has always been small government in comparison to other governments of the world. And so these super corporations with trillions, quadrillions of dollars have had very strong influence on the running of the governments, irrespective, within the US. That is not the will of the people. That hasn't been the will of the people. That has been the will of a small minority controlling the will of the people. The media. There is no truth guaranteed in the media anymore. Remember those blogs that we did with you concerning that? Everything that's happening at the moment is coming to a head is an awareness that you can't claim a country to be democratic or in any way run by its people when it's not. And that is what's happening, not just with America, but the power of these super corporations based in America and Europe. They're in Europe, but they're most powerful in America because the American government is so minimalist in controlling them. And of course, the only money that really the people put into their government, the only outlet for that money is the military. Massive, massive military. What's that military there for? To protect America? No. It's protecting America's interest. The American corporations that are all over the world. So if a country like, say, we'll pick on poor old China, decides that they want to turn around and say, no, we don't want you over here, the American military, the network, the whole system, Air Force, Army, Navy, all up there, down there, satellite systems, they turn around and virtually say, well, you know, you're affecting American interest. That government structure has got to change. I mean, it's even before this all happened, it was on the wind. Well, I mean, this is why it happened, isn't it? Because the world hasn't got a base that isn't American. Here in the middle of Australia, right in the dead heart of Australia, is one of the most supposed American secret bases. It's massive. Not so much in size or knowledge, because we don't know. But it's right in the middle of Australia, so it's looking at Africa, just over there, and South Africa, and India, and the bottom part of Southeast Asia, and of course coming over here to South America. That's one hell of a swing. And then of course up to the top of that, China, Russia to a lesser degree, because Russia is actually so, talk about smart. You know, you take the very tool, Russia has done this, the very tool that America has been protecting, and you turn that tool against America. Money. Now, we don't know, we've got to be careful too, because even though we know facts and truths, we can't say them on an American network controlled by Americans who can sue you here in your country for speaking a truth. So we have got to be extremely careful. And for you that are viewing out there, do you know that? Did you know that anything that goes on this YouTube or any of them, any of these outlets, are all American owned, or directly or indirectly American owned, and are governed by American laws and rules. And the country that they're in, like for example me, I could have my own country, excuse the clock, I could have my own country standing up for me in a court of law, but I wouldn't stand a hope in hell, because the laws have been written and stamped in Australia and Europe and America and, not America, Europe and other nations. They've been stamped by America, the countries themselves, to abide by America's interest, coming from the Second World War. Everything that was written from the time of the Second World War through to the current is about to implode. Everything. Now, we're talking through a human body here, through Pete. But you can check this yourself. And this is what we've been pleading with you. Turn within to the power of goodness that's in you all. And while you're out there now saying, oh my God, it looks like Hitler too is starting all over. What are you doing? Are you turning in prayer and saying, oh, Father God, whoever you are, wherever you are, I don't know much about you, but oh God, can you save us? Would you go to a building anywhere and scream out at the building, oh, I don't know who's in there, I don't know what's in there, but oh, can you do this for me? It's your responsibility. Your responsibility to find out who you pray to, or to ask for guidance or help of, or to the God you claim you believe in, or the belief that you have, be it a Christian or whatever, non-belief. What is your core basis? What do you use for your moral conscience basis? The rights and wrongs. We've done all this. This is not you. We've done this through every, bloody is still acceptable, I think, through every one of our blogs through Pete, and a few of the some of the vlogs that we've been experimenting with, because we're not quite there with that yet. We're getting there. This is probably one of the first where we're really, going to be putting more out, basically. You can't go blaming a creator, a God, those working with the creator, God, in the way of psychics and psychic mediums and tarot readers who are channeling in the main the same message. Every one of the psychics, that if you believe in psychics, well, you wouldn't be coming to this site, I guess, otherwise. Every one of them had the same picture. And the picture was a wind, a landslide, and we were saying that it would be a blue tsunami. And by the way, The story's not over yet. Don't go hanging up the the result as final and sticking up there as, oh, well, that's the way of it. No. This is all part of the plan. This is the Creator's plan to bring it to a head. Now, if it were to be found, let's just say for the argument that the Attorney General or Biden or Dark Brandon or whoever were to come out and say, we're going to do an investigation and we're going to redo the election, we're going to, or whatever can be done. See, I don't know the American system. We don't know the American system. We do, but that's not our place. We're talking through Pete. We talk through Pete's knowledge and knowing. And they turn around and say, okay, there's going to be an investigation. And the investigation is done, and, Trump was taken off to whatever, or found to be innocent, whatever. And then what? What's the American people going to do? Oh, same old, same old. We'll just keep on going the way we have been. All wonderful. No, that can't happen. This has got to be America you're standing in at the moment. You have got to clean up your own mess. You've got to start now. You can't do it alone. You've got to do it with the rest of the world. And to do that, you've got to believe that you're not the greatest. That you need the world as much as the world needs you. You need to be more reconciling in a sense, reconciliatory, in that you have, as a nation, done a lot of harm to a lot of nations. You had from your perspective, you had the right intentions, saving the world from communism, without having a clue what the communism was that you were fighting. I mean, unless you personally, individually, every one of you breaks down what it is you've been fighting, instead of assuming from what the media tells you, or assuming from what your elected members tell you, or from any other source outside of yourself, it's not enough. We are here. You in the physical world, we've said this before, you in the physical world are a collective consciousness. But we, up here, are also a collective consciousness in the spirit world. Now, we're not going into too much deep depth. You'll have to go look. We've got vlogs there galore. Go and have a look, and blogs. Go and have a look. We don't want to keep repeating ourselves. We've just had a message come through for on high. Pardon me. Between now, we've said this before, but there's a bit more to it. Sorry, we've stopped from what we were getting before. There is It's going to be rather painful time between now and April. Now, we've already put that out. We've always said there won't be a civil war in the US as such, but there will be civil unrest, civil violence, and it will include Democrats against Democrats, as well as Democrats against Republicans. It will be nations within America, nation representatives or represented, such as African American and Hispanic, and it's all bubbling. It's going to come to the surface. He was right, no, she was right. How would you know you're black? She was right, he was right. How would you know you're Hispanic? He was right, she was right. How do you know you're you get the point. Go back to the core of all you believe in and check it out again. What do you actually believe? Is there a God? Is there a universal creator sitting on a cloud up there? You're right, you're wrong. Is that what you believe? Or could it be that there's an essence, an energy, made up of the physical and the spiritual collective? That's what we're talking about. We in the collective up here are just as at odds in our ways and thinkings as you are down there. But we're, with the physical world, we're only talking about one country. Up here, the collective is made up of those souls and the spirits, or the seeds as we call it, that have moved on up here. And some of them, and many of them, still hold to the old ideology up here. And this is affecting the spiritual realm. So it's very difficult for us to get through to you down there if you in the collective are drawing on that negative aspect. You know, my country's right. You know, I'm okay, Jack. It's time for meditation. It's time to get down, not on your knees, that's crazy. Get down on your rear end, somewhere, on a chair, anywhere. Sit down, as Pete does every afternoon with these animals, and talk to us. Talk to yourself. Hi guys, how are you? What have we got in store for today? I don't know, what would they say back to me? Sky's blue, the frost is due, tomorrow will be fine, basically. Oh, and by the way, we'd like to say to you, in your imagination, be careful of some little thing. Is that your imagination? Well, yes, it is. This is Pete's imagination you're hearing. But it's us speaking through your imagination. And who are us? That depends on who you are channeling. We've said this, all of this we've said before. If you can understand that a human person is like a radio without a tuning knob. Hence why it's so easy for Trump, for entertainment purposes only, and others that are on that side of the veil have been influenced. Because they weren't given a tuning knob in their birth when they were growing up. They weren't given a right and wrong, that is, of the highest way. They were given, if you don't take it, you don't get it. If you don't go out there and fight for it, you won't get it. If you want to go believing that there's a God up there, well, that's up to you, but we don't. You take the tuning knob away, and the strongest signal is what you're going to pick up. You need the tuning knob. You need to work it and learn how to find it and use it. If you start now, we can guarantee you this. If you start now setting a time aside, hopefully every day, going to bed is ideal, but again, that's when you're sleepy, but it's better than nothing, and get into a routine of speaking to the sky within your mind. Hi guys, hi whoever you are. Just thought I'd thank you for the day. I don't know who I'm talking to, but thank you for the day. I really don't, I haven't been to church for a long time, and going to church is nothing. Church is just a building. Like we said, you don't stand outside of a building. Oh my God, can anyone hear me? Churches are a thing of the past. Religion is a thing of the past. Everything that we had is gone. It's now a one-on-one interaction with the core. Some people call it God. Pardon me. Some call it God. Some call it the Creator. They're just words. Oh, I better use that word or I won't interact with it. No. It's your thoughts within, your feeling within. What do I believe? What is my right from wrong? Oh, well, I guess my understanding is if it's all right for my family and for me, then I guess it's... Well, that's selfishness. Is that the creator you want to create? You have to create you have to create the radio, and then you have to create the knob so that your radio links to the radio that you want to believe in. It is so painful to watch what's happening down there in the physical world, down there, out there, in there. No, we're not up there in the heavens, in the physical. We are in and around. We are like radio waves. In every sense of the word, we are like radio waves. And we are there. And just like radio waves, you can tune in to garbage, rubbish, evil, or you can tune in to the most beautiful source. Are you worthy of that beautiful source? Ask and ye shall receive. If you ask for beauty, you'll get beauty. If you ask for the kindness and caring, you'll get the kindness and caring. But we're not talking about asking for something now and then, following what you heard from some of the bad channel on your radio. You have to live a life of caring, of kindness, of patience, of understanding the other side to arguments and points of view. How many of you can turn around and say, pardon me, turning around and saying, we can understand why Trump is the way he is, and we can understand why the MAGA are... I have trouble with that. Pete speaking. You still have to look towards, I wonder why. There must be a reason why. But not in a dismissive form of, I have no idea why they want to do that. No. It's got to be, what is the reason? What is causing this? You're getting answers from the radio of the highest order. All right, so we're coming up to the end of this. And I'm just hoping I can get it up without any trouble. I had massive trouble going back a few weeks. A vlog didn't make it, because I couldn't get it into MP4 format, and it was 4 or 5 days still loading. It was costing me a fortune in bloody bandwidth, that sort of stuff. So let me first start by saying a thank you to you, my wonderful friends in spirit. Our pleasure, Pete, as always. And to those, I guess we're both still in together. Yeah, we are. So we will say to the people out there watching this, America, don't despair. There is good and evil everywhere. And I'll have to get that poem out for you and stick it into one of my blogs. And those of you that are coming to the vlog and don't know about the blog, at the end, if not this one, because I'll have to race to get this up, if not the end of this one, it is in the initial window you go to with all my vlogs up there. If you go to that, you'll see there's a link to my blogs. And the blogs, 217 so far, of the current series. There's about 100 or something before that that I'm now reviewing and putting back up again in this series. So go and have a look, because it's all there. It's channel information, plus my points of view. You can't get rid of me. All right, so that's about it. Sweet dreams to you all. Look after yourselves and be kind and be caring to all humanity. Bye.